much for the opportunity, permission to start an existing protocol. Um, Today, I will be sharing my journey to medical physics. It is actually not a linear journey, but I believe someone would be encouraged and someone will be encouraged to go for what they want, regardless of the track or the journey. I was born and raised in Elisha, and my parents are not rich. My father was a driver and my mom was a petty trader. I remember at a point I had to like support my mom by selling puff puff. So when I saw this picture online, I was like, this is the perfect way of describing what I was doing at that time, like selling puff puff. And then presently, I'm a PhD student doing my in medical physics. So I really want to use this picture to encourage you that you should not give up on yourself and that your whatever it is you're doing now is not a perfect description of where you're going to be in the future. My motivation for medical physics did not start maybe from childhood. I never wanted to be a medical student in any way. It started in 200 level of my bachelor's program. And it started at the point where my father was diagnosed kidney failure. I know he had been sick for a while. I know he was not seeing hypertension, diabetes at the time. I thought everything was fine with the drugs he was taking. But 200 level, it was at UCH, he was diagnosed kidney failure. And I think about the same time, I was also doing my internship at UCH at the time. And then, Dr. Chidima came for a short program in UCH, and there was a day she asked me to, she was doing some surveys, and she asked me to come interpret for a student, for one of the patients, to one of the patients, interpret in Yoruba to one of the patients, and I just knelt down very close to this woman, and I wanted to ask her some questions in Yoruba, and she just screamed at the two of us, like, leave me alone, I'm in pain. I'm tired. I'm going through this treatment. It's not working. My cancer is coming back. She was saying all of that to Yoruba and she was so angry and she was in pain actually. And, leaving my father at home, looking at the way things were going at home, and then coming to the hospital and seeing this, I just said to myself, no child deserves to watch their loved ones die. No child deserves to see their loved ones go through pains. And that was just the turning point for me. And I decided that I was going to be a medical physicist. And then, so just for me to start like taking baby steps. So I did my BSc project with Professor Ogudari, and then we studied the intrinsic parameters of the thermoluminescence of kunzite using numerical models. There we solved some coupled first order ODEs that actually represent the thermoluminescence of kunzite. So the very interesting research, and it was my first time having to validate a experimental result with a simulation result. And I really want to thank the UCH Medical Physics team. Thank you so much for sowing that seed of knowledge in us at that time. Thank you so much. So after my BSc, I was selected to attend the African School of Physics. In 2018, it was indeed a very good experience for me. I learned a lot from both the lecturers and the colleagues. So it was a networking session for me. And I was aware of different aspects of physics and different computation software. That was the first time I was aware of Fluka. We did some Monte Carlo simulation practical sessions, Fluka and Roots, and research opportunities, because you can walk up to the lecturers after each session and have like lengthy conversation. So this is the first time I had to come out of my shell and then talk to people, meet people randomly, introduce myself. So it was a very, very good experience for me. And then, so for the first, I have the opportunity of presenting my undergraduate thesis. So this is, at the time I was doing my undergraduate thesis, I had no idea that I was going to present it in front of people from all over Africa. So that is why I will always use this phrase, every season of my life prepared me for the next. So if I had not done a very good research when I was doing my PhD project, I would not have the confidence of presenting it at the African School of Physics. So whatever it is you're doing now, you don't even know where you're going to need it. Make sure you give it your best. Make sure you give it your best. Do all that you can. Like the season that you are in right now, if that is the only thing that you know, just make sure you're doing whatever it is you're doing, do it well. Whatever it is that you're doing, do it well. You don't know when you will need it. So going to NYSC was really, really, I think I resumed NYSC camp a week after ASP. So I was posted to Port Harcourt, then I relocated to Abuja. So getting to Abuja, I was to get PPA. I had 3 months to get PPA. So I was like looking out for PPA and looking for a place that is, I was intentional about where I wanted to do my PPA. I just didn't want to go to anywhere that would not align with my goals. So I reached out to my BS supervisor, Professor Gundare, and I was just giving him updates about, okay, ASP, this is how things went at ASP. I was just giving updates about what has happened so far. And it was like, oh, how about your PPA? I was like, I don't even know where I wanted to do it. And I was like, oh, will you prefer Nigerian Nuclear Regulatory Authority? And I said yes. So I was, so he referred me, he recommended me to do my NYSC at Nigerian Nuclear Authority and regulatory authority. So I worked in 2 major departments, the information technology, IT, and then the nuclear security department. So this actually was like a very good place to know. These are the 2 departments where you know everything about what is going on in the institution. So I was very, very intentional, and it was really helpful for me to have a very good affiliation for my application for BNL internship. And it was also a season for me to learn, to prepare for my AUST entrance exam. And on Saturday, a friend of mine just introduced me to AI Saturday at the time. I didn't know why I needed to learn machine learning, but it was just like, oh, there's this thing called machine learning, and there's a place we can learn it every Saturday. Let's go to AI Saturday. So every Saturday we'll go to my timer and then join the training session. So, and it was just a very interesting journey. Like I said, every session of my life prepared me for the next. So yeah, so as a result, I mean, ASP started this mentorship program to help students that attended the school just further in their research career. So this was how I got this 3 months internship at Brookhaven National Lab. I think I was one of the 8 students that was selected for the first cohort. And getting to my mentor, he was like, "Oh, you're going to do Fluka." I was like, "Fluka? Ow, I've not done Fluka before." Then he was like, "Oh, you're going to learn, don't worry." Um, so I had to go back to the lecture slides from ASP. I had to go back to so because Fluka has very few materials online. You cannot just go to YouTube and see a tutorial. So I had to read a manual. I had to study um, manual, then go back to my lecture slides from ASP. You know, it was just my PI was like, if you learn it on your own, you would know it very well. So he just leaves me to it and gives me enough time to enjoy myself. From the installation to running the code to designing the target, everything. It was like do it yourself, and it was really a very good experience for me. I would make mistake. He would tell me go back again. I think he's a huge fan of start all over again. He would not feel bad if you say, "Oh, I made a mistake." He would just like, "Okay, start over again, do it again. Now you know what you did wrong. Start it over again." So it was a very good experience for me, and it was my first time. You know, there are times that you think when you get to America, that is when they'll teach you everything that you need to know. And then you are getting to America, they are telling you you have to learn it by yourself. So it was a very good experience for me. And yeah, and I did 2 oral presentation for the group, and I was also a very good networking experience for me, laptops, conversations. I intentionally go to lunch to meet the people I would never meet on a normal day. So lunch period is an intentional act. So you go to lunch, you sit down, in a strategic place, and people either you go to them on their table or they come to you on your table just for you to have a conversation. I was able to talk to a Nobel laureate through that, and I was like, oh, really? So it's like that some intentionality that comes into networking. So just learn some simple skills. So for my master's, I had two. I had two options. Do I want a MSc in medical physics, or I wanted a funded MSc? I know where I was coming from. I know if I tell my mom I want to do my master's, she will be like, where's the money coming from? Like, you have the money. So there's actually no, I know where I was coming from. So I cannot tell them at home that I wanted to do master's. So I had to like figure it out by myself. So it has to be scholarship. That's just the basic rule. So through conversation with Ibrahim Yahaya at African School of Physics, he told me about African University of Science and Technology, and I was like, yes, I'll do it. So I studied for the exam during my NYSC, and then I passed the exam and I resumed the school immediately. I think, yeah, the school had started before I came back from BNL. So I had to resume immediately after my internship. And it was a very, very good experience of learning a lot of quantum, mathematical methods, computational physics. This picture is one of my favorite picture of the program. It was when we were doing quantum field theory. It was a very, very rigorous period. It was during COVID, so it was online. It was really, really very interesting top, concept. And I actually could not believe that at that time I could do quantum field theory. So yeah, my thesis, I tried so hard. I still had medical physics in my mind. Every lecturer that came to teach us knows that Fumi wants to do medical physics. But then I had to do a density functional theory study for my thesis. And it's a very good experience because then I learned how to run codes, I mean my simulation on HPC, which is what I'm doing right now in my present study. So it's like every phase of my life was preparing me for the next. And I did not know, like I was not aware. I was just doing what I wanted to do at that time, like what I had to do at that time. That was my focus. I was just like, okay, I have to run this DFT stuff, so let us do it. And I'm so happy for the people that got and like, the teachers that God brought into my life. So yeah, I did a DFT study, which was very, very interesting. And like I said, I was all this while. You might have seen me in different medical physics seminars, online, in person. I was not doing medical physics at all. I was not officially a medical physicist or in the loop. I was doing something different, but I was indirectly one. This is a picture of me at NAMP conference in 2018 Abuja, National Hospital in Abuja. I remember a lady walking up to me. I was like, oh, how do I get involved with NAMP? I was like, this is my first time too. But it was not obvious that it was my first time. I was interacting with everybody. So, and then I do attend, I still follow Global Health Catalyst seminars, the moonshot programs, everything. I still follow them till date. Harmattan School of Physics, yes. ASP online seminars, anything that has to do with medical physics. Even though I was not doing medical physics, I was just like, you would definitely find me. So it's just a way of me like creating an awareness, like just being aware of the things that is going on in the field and also learning and this at the same time. I was learning. I remember the first Harmattan School of Physics, we had diverse topics ranging from machine learning applications. So I was just being in the environment and then learning from different things. So when I was to apply for my PhD, so many things are in between, but I just wanted to go because I had very limited time. So I was to apply for PhD. I was tired of applying for medical fields and not getting funded. They will tell you, oh, I have partial admission. I don't even have money for flight tickets. They're telling me to come and pay 75% of the school fee. No. So I was just like, okay, I'm not going to apply because now I've done theoretical physics. I've seen that I could do any other things. I could do DFT. I was already enjoying other things that I was doing. So I was like, okay, maybe I should not like be too rigid. Let me try to, explore other things. So I was like, okay, I would look for a biology related physics, and I started studying biophysics. It was really, really interesting. So, and I was like, okay, I don't want to do competition anymore. I wanted to try something different, so I went for experimental biophysics. Why? Because for my thesis, for my MSc thesis, DFT study, I spent a lot of time on the screen, like on my computer. So I wanted something different. I just wanted different. So I wanted something that is really, really different. So that was why I was like, okay, experimental biophysics. And for my first year, I was in an experimental lab. Did I like it? Not so well. So how did I actually finally get into a medical? Because I was admitted to USF to study experimental biophysics, not medical physics. So I think spring, yeah, spring of April, around April 2022, I I was just thinking, okay, like this medical physics thing, are you just going to give up on it completely? So my mind, I was like, okay, maybe I should apply to other schools now that I'm already in the US. Maybe I should apply to other schools. And I scheduled a meeting with the graduate program coordinator, and then we were having a conversation. And she was like, okay, we are just having like random conversation. I did not have it in mind I was going to discuss anything about medical physics to her. So she was not like, oh, do you have any other thing that you would like to discuss with you? I was like, okay, this is your medical physics thing. What is actually wrong with you people? And she was like, oh, she explained the funding situation to me, and I practically understood because most of the time this funding comes from philanthropic families, and they are already scheduled that okay, this funding, US citizen must is this funded. So it's really, really a difficult thing for them to take funding that is actually like adds a lot of restriction to. So these are issues that comes in like funding of medical field projects and the likes. So I was like, okay, it's fine. Like I just wanted to be aware of why, I just wanted to know what is going on. So she was just like, okay, let me just see if there is an opportunity. Let's just try for the last time. So and for me, like if you meet me in 5 minutes, you will know I want to do my medical physics. That is me. I don't stop talking about it. Even though I was not doing it, I don't stop talking about it. So she is aware that Fumi likes medical physics, but Fumi is doing experimental biophysics. So she made a call, and then I was scheduled for an hour-long interview. I was scared at first because when I looked at the H index of the people that were going to interview me, I was like, there's no way I'm going to pass this interview. These are really professionals. So I was not familiar with the project they were discussing during the interview. It's purely machine learning, a lot of medical imaging preprocessing, a lot of things. And my PI looked at my CV, asked me a lot of questions, and he was like, okay, we can teach you machine learning, but we definitely cannot teach you the physics that you've done. And that is what we need. So it was like, oh, I wanted to do quantum machine learning. So I can teach you the machine learning and you know the quantum, so we can work together. So everything that I've done so far, like everything, like thank God I was going for AI Saturday at the time. I was just going for the fun of it. But the lessons I was learning were really, really good for me. So, and there's one thing I really want to talk about for this few minutes. Please don't lie on your CV. I want to beg you. Please, there's something called background check. People go for I don't know, seminars, and they tell you package your CV. If you're packaging it, make sure you're not packaging it with lies. Don't extend months. Don't extend weeks. Make sure the start date and the end date is the same as what they had in the record of the place, or in the record of that place where you worked. Because when I was doing my onboarding to Moffitt Cancer Center, it took 3 months, and all they were doing for the 3 months was to verify everything on my CV. Until they got a reply, they did not move forward. I actually did not know that they were doing all of these things. I just submitted my CV. They just said, submit your CV, and I submitted it until I think in 2 months in, I was just like, I received a call from NNRA that somebody's looking for me. I was like, how? Why? What did I do? So practically someone that the new person that was handling the person that was handling my file at that time was a new person. So she had no idea. He does not know me. So she had to like ask people that, oh, do you know this core member for me? That is why I said build relationships wherever you work. Even though you have a very legit reasons to be rude to people, learn how to manage people, learn how to work in an environment, and let people have good memories about you. The only thing people will not forget is how you make them feel. not the work you've done for them. So please and please, I'm begging you, young people, please learn how to manage relationships, learn how to manage relationships. So yeah, don't lie on your CV because you will need it during onboarding. They would verify everything. There was a school that I taught in a school 10 years ago. They had to keep, reaching out, calling the owner of the school until the man responded that, oh, I know this girl. She worked with me. So please, I just wanted to end with this. Please don't lie on your CV. And I want you to know that every season of your life is preparing you for the next. You might, and don't give up on your dreams. Don't give up on your
Thank
dreams.
you so much.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you. Thank you.